Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. As you guys know, spring is about to be in full effect. The grass is getting greener. The trees are finally trying to get leaves on them now. It's getting warmer out. You almost can wear shorts. Looking nice out. That being said, a lot of the projects, the new projects on the channel are going to start emerging here for you guys to see, as opposed to my two blue Pontiacs, the Firebird and the Chieftain. That being said, this will be a quick little update onto some of the new projects we got going on here, plus a little insight into my third project project car here to my fleet and on the channel. A bit of an impulse buy, but it's got a pretty cool story, and it's a bit different too. So we'll see what you guys think about this. That being said, let's get into it. The next project here on the channel is going to be this 1969 Ford F100. The banana boat. This thing is pretty dang rough. It had a nice flatbed on it, but my dad took it off and sold it for a decent amount of money. So yeah, this thing hasn't been kicking since, I believe, the mid-2000s. The plate on the flatbed said, but it's gone now. So I don't quite remember. As you can tell, it's had a paint job. The original color would have been this blue here, but the yellow is not terrible. I have a little bit of history on this truck. I know a guy who knew the guy who owned this back in the 90s, so it must have been a pretty hopped up ride, at least back then. We got a 390 under the hood, I believe is what it is. It's the mice like this car a lot, but it did turn over last I remember. Got some ignition issues there. It's got a Fram on there, gross. Mechanical fuel pump. Has coolant in there too. So yeah, that's a bit of a fun little project here. I don't think it'd be too bad to at least try to get running, and maybe getting some different tires on there. Maybe the Chieftains can swap spots for a little bit. And we got the interior here. Nasty carpet. See, it's not too bad, but who knows underneath. The mice probably got on there and had their way with it. Aftermarket temp gauge there. Odometer says 41,000, I think. 81,000, hard to tell. Chokes. It is a 4-speed, I believe. 4-wheel drive too, so that would have been actually pretty cool. Would not mind that at all. Those gauges are kind of cool too. Has a 90s, radio in it. Some Clarion speakers that used to be somewhere in the doors, I believe. But yeah, kind of an old rig, but ooh, maybe with some love we can at least get it running and hear it. Hear what these big glass packs sound like. Those things are massive. Well, that's all still good too. But yeah, we got a decent unit here. We will see what it does in time when it warms up here. The next project here is going to be this 1961 Ford F600 grain truck. This thing's kind of a monster as far as 61 concerns. My Chieftain's a 51, so we're about 10 years apart here. This thing is very simple. You hear my echo here at the hood open. It's like some sort of solenoid, starter solenoid here or something. Simple wiring. I think this is a 289 Y block, I believe. Hard to say. It's got a Holly on it, so this truck used to run and haul grain around, or rocks around for us years back. It's been so long, I don't remember when it ran last time, but got a decent little setup here, and it does turn over, so at least the water pump does. And it's got coolant in there too. But yeah, kind of a big, cool engine here. I bet you it'd sound decent. Single reservoir master cylinder. If I remember correctly, it was parked because the vacuum booster setup crapped out. So it was really impossible to stop a truck this big. And I also imagine that the drums are probably shot and also impossible to get parts for. But it's pretty cool. And I do actually like it. quite a bit if it was somewhat, you know, nicer. I think it's been repainted too. Some Bondo flakes here and there on the door. There's F600 Ford. Kind of some cool badging. This thing's also a 3-speed. That's a 4-speed. So, first, second. That was third, fourth, first, second. Reverse. Got the old death knob right there. Cool Ford, like the gear lightning bolt style horn button there. Little radio, lamp gauge. It's pretty cool. I mean, it is. So we'll see if we can get this thing running, at least maybe driving around the yard. We're gonna see how it sounds at that. These Y blocks sound pretty mean. All those old Fords do sound really good too, so I'd like to see what it sounds like. It does also have an alternator on there, so someone looks like put something newer on there. Looks like a GM 10SI almost, but it's hard to say. But yeah, this thing was used a lot at one point, so again, time comes along, we will give it some love. So yeah. And here we are, back to our 2 blue Pontiacs, Chieftain and Firebird. As the channel goes on, we'll do some minor little projects here and there, things that I want to do that other people really haven't seemed to have documented before. So the Firebird will get some new things, Chieftain as well. The 12-volt conversion is going beautifully. I mean, this car will start up every time and charge everywhere you go. You can drive it all night long, headlights will stay on, everything will stay lit. That 12-volt conversion was definitely worth it. And yeah, I highly recommend it. Otherwise, most of the things we need to do, the Chieftain, are almost out of my hands as far as exhaust work goes, interior work goes, welding the floor panels we might do. Don't know yet for sure. This is kind of a pain. Otherwise, mechanically, the Chieftain seems to be doing good. If time progresses and things get worse, we will definitely do a full series on how to rebuild the straight 8 and how to rebuild the hydromatic drive. Now, normally, most of my work is going to be done on American cars. That's where I know the most information about a lot of 90s F-bodies, 50s cars, GM particularly. But we got a new family member. We're mixing things up. That being said, I'd like to introduce you guys to our little Toyota Corolla. Yeah, not exactly a sporty Firebird or a big 50s car, quite the opposite in almost every way, shape, and form. A cute little Corolla. What you're seeing here is a 1988 Toyota Corolla FX hatchback. This is just a base model Corolla, black bumpers, silver paint, 4-cylinder automatic transmission, carbureted at that. Just a very basic 80s economy car, but you don't see a lot of them. And so when I saw that this car was going to be crushed, I just kind of had to go in here and snag this thing. It's not exactly perfect, I mean, but you know what car is. But it was a good price, and I couldn't really pass up on something that was going to be destroyed that has such a good, you know, story to it. So we'll show you guys around here, the Corolla. It's got 13-inch wheels. I mean, tiny little things. You don't see a lot of cars with 13-inch wheels driving around, period. So those tires are also older than dirt. That one's leaking, actually. So yeah, kind of cool there. Kind of start with the interior here. It's dirty. I mean, it's been sitting since 2006, so it's got a lot of dirt, a lot of dust. Needs to be fully cleaned out, which is something we can do, and get new carpet in it maybe. Only tears right there. I mean, you know, it's grimy, it's dirty. She needs some love. 2 pedals, that's kind of lame, but we can work with that. Headliner's still up there. It's got the back seats here. Decent leg room here. Very, very basic 80s economy car. But cool thing, has AC and power steering, so kind of interesting. Another cool thing here is the hatchback. This whole thing back here lifts up. It'll need new hood struts, lift supports for the hatch, but yeah, I got some decent room back here. I mean, you can pile up a decent amount of groceries in the back, and you can fit a lot of tires back here too, actually. But yeah, it's actually not that bad, and you can fold the back seats down and have a bunch of room to carry things around. So I mean, all things considered, besides all the dirt, the grime, the faded paint here, I mean, for $600, we saved a nice classic 80s Toyota, and I think we got a fun little project. We're gonna do some a lot of DIYs on this particular one. Learn some new stuff on these foreign cars as opposed to our normal American cars. I mean, it's pretty incredible. This car really doesn't have a single crack or imperfection on anything. It's sitting at 123,000 miles, I believe, on the odometer. Yeah, it's low. It's pretty dang low. So, and listen to those doors. That's a good sounding door. This car is ready to be put back on the road. It's not even the ugliest thing either. I mean, it's definitely different, but it's, you know, it's simple. And I think there's enough things you can do with these things to make them kind of sporty almost. That being said, we'll show you guys the engine and go from there. Here we are underneath the hood of the Corolla. What you see here is a 1.6 liter 4AF engine. Single overhead cam with a 2-barrel carburetor. That's right, carburetors in 88. Definitely not very powerful, definitely not sporty by any means. It's just an Econobox, and that's what it does. So there's that little carburetor there. It's called like an Asen. So I'm used to Carter, Edelbrock, you know, all those brands. But this is something else. You can see there. Got a power steering reservoir back in there. Disc brakes in the front, drums in the back. Has electric fans. It's kind of cool. Distributor there. Not a lot to point out here that's really unique besides the fact that it is carbureted. Besides, also is AC alternators down there, AC compressors down in there somewhere as well. Right now in its current state, it does run, but not very well. And when it gets to idle, it tries to die. So you can't really take it on the highway at all. So we got to dig into that carburetor and figure out some tech tips on how to figure that out. The guy I bought the car from rebuilt the carburetor, but whether or not he did a good job or did it correctly, that is to be seen. Hard to say. But it's there, so we have a base to start at, and if push comes to shove, we can make something work. Now you could buy these Corollas with the 4AGE, the MR2 engine, from the Toyota MR2, the Mark 1 MR2s, the first in MR2s, paired with the 5-speed manual. Those are called the FX16s for 16 valve, like the 4AGE has. Those are pretty cool. They're also rare. You'll never find one. Not for a reasonable price either. They had some body effects, kind of a nicer little effect there, rear ducktail spoiler, whatever it's called, for the hatchback. Would have been a blast to have. I mean, those are pretty fun. MR2s are fun to drive already, so a front-wheel drive version of that couldn't be too bad, I wouldn't say. But yeah, this is a regular Toyota Corolla FX. Nothing too crazy, but we have a good base to work with. Either we make it back to its original state, we put a 4AGE in there, or we put something bigger in there. I don't know. We'll see what happens with this particular engine. We'll do compression tests, ignition tests, combustion tests, all that fun stuff. Every DIY you can think of will be done on this car. Brakes, carburetor rebuilds, coolant flushes, testing electronic components. This particular Corolla, the fans don't seem to turn on. The brake lights do not work. Radio doesn't seem to work either. There's a couple things we got to dig into and try out. A lot of stuff going on here. A lot of vacuum lines and solenoids and check valves and all sorts of crazy stuff. So we got a lot going on here, but in time we will figure it out and make this thing usable again and put it back on the road. And it might even replace my daily Maxima. I don't know yet. You kind of need front-wheel drive in the Kansas weather, so I'm not opposed to this by any means. and it's just such a unique car, you just don't see them anywhere, so you might get some thumbs up. So you may even take it to car shows. I don't know yet. We'll see. But yeah, that's the newest member of the family, next to my 2 blue Pontiacs over here. So we'll see if they can get along, but yeah, they got a cute little Corolla now to hang out with. So yeah, a lot of future videos on this thing, so stay tuned for the Corolla. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in for this little update video. That being said, we got some work to do here, so we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.